I came in 1987.
Fall of 1983.
I came full-time, let me get it right now. It had to have been September of 94. It was my first year, 94, 95. From there, things just started moving, and I've been here ever since.
Granddad came here in 1987.
Coach John Allen and myself came in, and we came in together. And the first time I came in here, the school was a lot smaller, a lot different, but I knew this was a place for me. Just walking in the hallways and seeing people I'd never met before that responded to you when you said something to them, I knew it was a good place for me.
I was at Bluestone High School in Mecklenburg County, Virginia.
I had been previously working in industry, and how the industry was going at that time. They did a lot of laying off. And before then, I had taught in the city of Richmond, so I got back into teaching.
I spent 17 years at Petersburg High School.
Well, I was looking for a coaching job in football, and occasion was just hired as a head football coach, and I happened to get one of the assistant jobs, and been here ever since.
The principal at that time was Jim Porak, and he and I coached football at Petersburg many years ago. Matter of fact, we won the 1979 state championship football team that year. He landed a job and made a call to me, and I hopped to it.
I guess it's just a bunch of old heads in there when I first rolled in. I mean, it's just, knew there was a bunch of old school guys that have been there for a while, been doing it forever, and I knew that they had their stuff together and were going to do a good job and that they were going to be fun to teach with.
Oh man, they seem like a good / crazy, professional group of guys. That's the best way I can put it. A good group of guys, professional, very professional, but crazy too, fun crazy.
Just a few words to describe them would be fun-loving, giddy, intelligent. They're very passionate about their teaching and their coaching, and they all just have great hearts.
They're like the Mount Rushmore of Meadowbrook. I don't know, they're just the guys. Everybody knows them, former students, current students, they're just, no words to describe them.
I wasn't quite over the tobacco chewing, tobacco spitting at that point in time, because I'm from the north and I didn't know what that was.
It was just crazy. It was crazy how long they've known each other and how long they had been here, and all the stories they used to tell about 4 classes being up in the old gym and playing ping pong and doing this and doing that, and just some of the stories, man, just crazy.
That they have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. They've been teaching. They started teaching before I was even born. So I mean, these guys are master teachers. So I just kind of sit and listen to whatever they have to say.
I had no idea when the first time I met Bill.
Coach Bowles came in with me, and Coach Wyndham came in. And of course, Coach Mason was still here. So, we used him to the fullest extent.
The most important thing are the personnel. And I was very blessed to work with, with a Deb Rizzo or Bill Bowles or John Allen, Dewey Wyndham, Jamie Occasion, right on back. A Dave Cathers, a Ray Garrett, Darren Mason. I mean, heck, Darren Mason, they have to make a movie about D. Mason if he's going to continue to be security guard. They made one about that guy, Paul Mall, the mall cop. So, I think there should be a big feature presentation coming out on Coach Mason, who was there as long as I was.
The one thing I remember about Dewey and John Allen, and I hope you have this on tape, Randy, is when they used to do that salt and pepper. Have you ever seen that? The salt and pepper and the ebony and ivory.
Coach Bowles and Wyndham and Coach Gray were, just the old school, hard-nosed, Bear Bryant style football coaches, and we were going to stay out there until it was done the way they wanted it done, and that's the way they did it, and it worked out great. I mean, mean, it led us to the state championship.
It's got to be the half hour that we have that goes from like 12 to 12:30 and during our lunches, and just sitting in there and just hearing them, you know, jab one another and just tell jokes and talk about the old days, and just being around them, man. They're genuinely a fun group of guys to be around, and that's definitely the best part of being in that department.
That's how I know him.
I sit between John Allen and Dewey Wyndham, and I feel like I'm kind of like their child, and they're fighting over me. You know, it's kind of like the movie Kramer versus Kramer, where I'm getting pulled one way by John and the other way by Dewey, and it's just this constant banter back and forth that's just ridiculous.
It's definitely a marital relationship, salt and pepper.
I tell you what, the best description I can give you of Dewey Wyndham and John Allen, some people say husband and wife. I don't want to go there because then somebody got to be the wife, and you know, we don't want to do that. My best description, I've always felt this way. I never really said it much, but I'm going to let it out right now. I compare them to Archie Bunker and George Jefferson. For those who remember that 70s TV sitcom, it was two of them really, but George Jefferson actually started on the Archie Bunker show, and to me that was some of the best comedy and just fun times of any of the shows during that era, because they were just going at each other all the time.
It's like a husband and wife, man. I mean, you know, Dewey's the one that has to have everything set, everything in line, you know, and John, you know, come on, Dewey, just, you know, let it go, you know. Why do you gotta be all doing that, Dewey? But I mean, it is crazy, man. I mean, you just gotta be down there. I mean, people that come down and hear them going back and forth, they're like, are they serious? Or are they joking? I mean, they're joking, man, but they're all right.
I think John generally comes out on top. I think, yeah, they're very much like a married couple.
I always experienced the aftermath, because of course I didn't share an office with that.
They argue about everything. You know, whether the door's open, whether the door's closed, you leave the door open. They argue about, you know, class roles, students. You know, the sun came up, golf, anything. They're going to disagree about anything.
Just little things, you know, did you turn the light out, or I've got this lesson plan in the classroom that I left for you, and then John will start in about something on Dewey. You know, you need to clean up that room a little more. You need to straighten up that desk, and it's like, you know, my parents yelling at each other.
I think some of it was probably to play it up, ham it up, and make it really sound serious when it wasn't, because they would always end up kissing and making up, you know, so.
Yeah, when we used to have faculty end of the year parties, they would be called salt and pepper, and they would get up in front of the entire faculty, because both of them, obviously, they love to be the center of attention. And they would just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
You're not going to go a 30-minute block without hearing Coach Allen go, "Damn it, Dewey!" or something like that, you know, where they're going back and forth. Or
I think John Allen usually won those battles. You know, I mean, it's John Allen's way or the highway, really. So, you know, Dewey always used to kind of cave in. But, I mean, Dewey put up a good fight for a while. But, I mean, you can't say no to John Allen, no doubt about it.
Dewey, I'm going to let it out of the bag right now, man. We may as well fess up. We do that to entertain them. Dewey and I arrive here every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. We plot it. All right, what's the argument going to be about this morning? We plan it. We like to hear Rob laugh. We like to hear Bill Bowes. We like to hear all of them laugh. You know, but most of the time I'm winning it because I can deliver it. We play games on one another. We send one another on missions. Your lights on. You need to go out and cut your lights on. You know, we do things like that, a little small thing. Dewey has food that he normally keeps in his desk drawer, you know, like candy or crackers or potato chips, or somehow or another they disappear. But anytime anything disappears in that department, it's always John Allen. Nowhere around, hadn't been to school all day, but it's John Allen. That's the way it goes in that department.
They've touched thousands of lives, probably, you know, as athletes and in the classroom.
Very dedicated, very student-oriented, loved what they did and showed it every single day, and they displayed it. They were great role models for the kids and their enthusiasm for the jobs that they were doing.
I think the order was Bill, Dewey, then John. They came to us, but three just absolutely wonderful human beings, and people that you really enjoyed being around, and were extremely loyal people to Meadowbrook and to each other.
The four men that we're honoring and saying goodbye, farewell to. Part were here, part I brought in, but they made a terrific team and made a great impact on the Meadowbrook High School student body, and in particular in their own coaching and teaching endeavors.
I would say they're an institution unto themselves. Teaching is no longer a profession where teachers stick around for 20, 30 years. But I'm willing to bet that those guys have probably had siblings, which is something that's not normal nowadays, because teachers stick around for a few years and then they go into other professions. But I mean, those guys are just they're all different, and I think that's what makes them very unique.
They're all four football guys. They have a lot of experience. They're old timers.
I would just say stability, because you can see it in the kids' eyes when they come in. They be acting for us. Coach Allen here today, Coach Wyndham, they want to know that we're here and we're for them, and they want to know also that we're gonna crack down on them when they act a fool, which has to be done, and they understand that.
The PE group are very close, even with the changes that's been coming in and out. We've all seemed to be very close. I don't know what it is. It's just maybe our chemistry that we have in the field that we're in, but we are very close-knit. We help each other in any way that we possibly can, but it is a good relationship. It's like a family. When you talk about our department, you're talking family.
They are Meadowbrook High School. They represent, a piece of history of this school, and they, when you think about Meadowbrook High School, or at least when I think about Meadowbrook High School, and I have, a different view of it because I was here as a student and, also as a faculty member, but experienced both of those viewpoints. When I think of Meadowbrook High School, I think about those guys because they've been here through it all. Them including, people like Ms. Ruscher, Ms. Hornberger, Ms. Silvestri, Carrie Henley, people like that. I mean, they have absorbed, everything that Meadowbrook has been about, is about, and will be about, hopefully. And that's, that's who those four guys are. They are Meadowbrook High School.
But all three of these guys, Bill being the senior of them all, 27 years, I've learned a lot of stuff from all three.
No way that we could have had any of the successes on the court and on the field without those people. I mean, they're just, if you look at a pyramid of success, all three of those guys would be just deeply, solidly embedded in the foundation of that.
It was a very friendly atmosphere. They were very cordial individuals. I would say that John was a little quieter, more reserved type person. Bill was kind of in the middle of that. Unless he got fired up on something, then he could really show the passion that he had for what he was doing. And of course, Coach Wyndham was just very, very quiet, never said a whole lot, and just I'm lying on that one. He was the one that carried the trick all the time.
I'll find somebody to talk to. If I have to go out in the backyard and talk to the trees, I'll get their attention one way or another.
Dewey think he looked like Burt Reynolds, man. He got pictures behind his desk of himself, and all those pictures is altered just a slight little bit to make himself look like Burt Reynolds.
Now he is the jokester. He's the guy that if there's nothing going on, he's gonna make something happen. He's gonna come up and crack on somebody's clothes, or the way someone look, you all right, huh? You look bad, or whatever. And he's gonna be the one to come to you and maybe readjust your seat so when you sit in it, it flops down on you or something like that, or just do some crazy stuff. You have a lesson plan out here, go hide it from you so you can't find it when the bell ring. Or even if you're in the trailer like we were in last year, we were in the trailers, and can you imagine that? Health classes in the trailer, 35 plus kids. He'd come and bang on the trailer, boom, scared the kids half to death and everything.
Dewey was of a different stripe, and but he always projected a positive, upbeat attitude towards kids, and that's important.
Just, I mean, how passionate he was about defensive football, and just how he was during practice, just loud and just funny.
Probably the funniest things I remember about Dewey is just him yelling and everything like that, and being on the sidelines with him. He's a wild man, I love him.
Dewey is just, I don't know, Dewey's crazy.
Tries to drive the kids crazy before they drive him crazy. Therefore, confuses everybody and they don't know they're learning something.
Bill Bowles is a doodler. You know, I just knew with Bill Bowles, Bill was an assistant here on the Jamie occasion. And in the old building, which I said earlier that our class was in 120. Bill's class was 122. Bill Bowles forever would be in that class doodling, and all he would do is just draw football plays. He could draw football plays 24 hours a day. Never stop to eat or go to the bathroom. I don't know what's going on, but that's what he did.
And then, you know, if something got out of hand in class, all he'd have to do, he'd draw a play. If something got out of hand, he'd just look up, get in the house, everybody's be quiet, get back to work, and go right back to drawing his plays. I mean, he was a machine. That's what he was. He's an offensive genius. I describe him as a leader, somebody who he always would just, no matter what was going on, good or bad, he just kept it going, and I learned that from him. If something bad happened, we just keep going. If something good happened, we just keep going.
Someone whose passion shows in his daily work.
I remember one day he got a little frustrated with me and yelled at me in the hallway, and it scared the crap out of me because you never really hear any of those guys raise their tone or raise their voice at anyone. So felt a little like my dad was yelling at me and felt a little bit bad about that.
But nah, you don't see much trash talking to Coach Bowles from the kids or from us. I mean, I'll talk trash to Dewey, talk a little trash to Bill and John, but I kind of stay away from Coach Bowles.
He's very, very humorous. He's very, very humorous, and he likes to tell stories. Remind me of Lou Host. You know, he tells them stories. He looked like him too, and I tell him, man, all you need is a hat, man, or lose a little weight. You look just like him, man. That's Bill Bowles.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my homeboy Bill Gray. I mean, we've gone through the wars in the last 6 years with these 9th graders. You know, I don't know what I would have done without Bill Gray, man.
Coach Gray, he's just laid back, cool, calm.
Fun, hardworking, just tries to do too much in one day. He needs to just chill out and lay back, and that's what he needs to do in retirement too. He needs to just go play tennis and not get himself worked up about everything.
He's always had a story for something. I mean, kids like to mock him, using his low voice. But I mean, he's just a great guy, man. One time in the gym, he was trying to break up a fight, rolled his ankle, came on crutches. Next thing you know, he's getting out with the football, comes in, looking like he's got one eye, and I mean, he's the best, man. He's the best.
John Alley is the ultimate competitor, I call him that, because he's the type of guy that just wants to compete all the time and wants to beat you all the time, and it doesn't matter what it is. You talk golf, he can go out there and hit the ball further, more accurately than anybody. Even something as simple as, cards or dominoes or anything else. He's very competitive and he always wants to compete. And he'll tell you too, that's another thing. He's also considered a master teacher. I got to give him credit for that. The man, can break things down to you on any level that you can understand. He's a good teacher. And another thing he will do, he will tell you all about that also. I did not say the word modest when it comes to Coach Allen. He'll tell you all about it. Trust me.
Well, first of all, they all think they're experts at everything, so it doesn't matter, like, you know, what you're talking about. But Coach Wyndham is always there to inform us when there's a change and there's something new that we need to do. And then Coach Allen is there to call out Coach Wyndham when he's wrong, so he's vocal about that. Coach Bowles doesn't have a lot to say unless you get him going on some old football story or something like that, and you can't shut him up. And then Bill Gray is always in there talking with Casey and everybody else about, you know, whatever was on SportsCenter this morning or what happened last night.
The disco dudes, it was a good thing that they didn't spill all that paint they were trying to carry. I don't know if it was Sandy Silvestri or whoever got them into this whole thing. But they thought they were really bad after that, and I had to like get the whip out and beat them down because their egos were like this big.
Well, you know, it was originally for Chuck, and he was sick at the time, and we were trying to give him something that would raise his spirits, and you were involved in it too. And of course, your image of us changed at that point, I'm sure. But it was great fun. And it really came out well, I thought. You know, it was hopefully, and from what I understand, as far as Chuck was concerned, it did the job it was supposed to do.
I can't speak for John or Bill or the other people that were involved with making of that tape, Sandy and all, but we had fun doing that tape because we knew that tape hopefully would have brought a smile on Chuck's face, because he was, you know, he kept a smile on his face even though times were tough and the outlook did not look good, but he still had a smile on his face.
We did a production some years ago. Miss Silvestri, she did everything, and we dressed up in a John Travolta outfit doing that air, and we had to dance, and there's a video somewhere around here of us doing that, and I think that was the most hilarious thing that I've ever seen. But we pulled it off.
Matter of fact, I was one of the videographers for the Disco Dudes. I think I was like a junior in high school when those guys made that video. I mean, that was great, man. I will always remember that video for as long as I live. I mean, that's one of the funniest things I've ever been a part of.
They were a bunch of fools. But it was very entertaining, upbeat, and positive.
But collectively with these guys, I think I mentioned earlier when Ms. Silvestri made the video, what always comes to mind when I think of the Three Amigos, and I don't mean purposely to exclude Bill Gray, but Bill wasn't here at the time, when they were dressed up in their disco outfits and bopping down the street to Staying Alive, and they could have been on Travolta's team or something at the time. I mean, every time I just think of that video, that pops up to me all the time. I just chuckle and I said, yeah, that was perfect, perfect display with those three bouncing down the street and just being themselves and being the guys that they are.
We were told when he watched that movie, he was in the hospital room, he said he couldn't stop laughing, so we did the right thing.
You know, it just showed a different side. You know, when you're a student, you don't see that side of your teachers that often or at all. So being able to not only see it on video, but being able to be a part of that and watch them put that video together, that was great.
Okay, let me give you a little backstory. In the late 1990s, Roberta Minitry approached me and asked if we could do a music video to help cheer up Chuck Collins, a former Meadowbrook colleague, coach, dear friend, who was battling a very serious illness. So after some pretty extensive research, we found out that Chuck's favorite music genre was disco. So Roberta went out, she bought the authentic wardrobe at very expensive thrift boutiques and subjected the actors to grueling practices in order to get the moves just right. And now this film will live on in Monarch film history. As one eyewitness, a former student of mine, an aspiring filmmaker, a new dad, you might know him, Randy West, said to me after, "It took all I could do from busting out laughing when I was filming in that old drama dressing room with the three of them, and the shirts came off and the hair dryers turned on." And that is really, in essence, something that you can capture on film, but you have to experience it. This is the gift of the three amigos and the dancing diva that will live on forever in classic Monarch film history. And now for your viewing pleasure, the 1997 production of The Disco Dudes.
Hey Chuck, get out your platform shoes and your polyester. It's disco time.
Each one of them was dressed up in different costumes, but doing that era. And when she took the shot just of our legs, the lower part of our body, the way we were walking, that stole the show right there. You could tell who was who. You could tell the country boy, look at Dewey, you could tell his walk, you know. You could tell Bogues, he's walking like he's leaning over, and you can tell me I'm pigeon toe to bow, baby. That's all it is. So we had fun. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive.
Coach Allen and Coach Wyndham and Coach Bowles, dressed up like John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever. And I remember that Miss Silvestri had them strutting down the sidewalk in front of the school and whistling at Miss Mahoney. Staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. There's some shots in there where the camera's a little shaky, and that's me laughing so hard while I'm videotaping that I couldn't even keep the camera straight.
remind you about the universe. They hold sweepstakes, so get in line to get the prize.
It's something that when I come back and more people are missing. There's for example, Sandy Silvestri, I understand, that next year will be her last year. Well, who's going to replace Sandy Silvestri? Certainly there will be competent, decent people to replace, but they will not have the connections to the graduates and the kids. And the same thing with coaches. Coaches have the potential of having a profound impact on kids. Setting standards, saying this is wrong. And that history of dealing with particular kids in this particular school will be lost, and that's normal, that's natural, but it's unfortunate.
John was giving me a hard time, imagine that, just a little while ago before I came down here, because I took my kids to do one thing while him and Casey were doing something else in the gym. He's like, what's wrong? You guys don't hang out with us anymore, And I just told him, man, no matter what happens, what I do, if you get your feeling hurt, I love you guys, and I'm always gonna be there for you. Just remember that, and that's what it is. My message to you guys is keep coming back. Thanks for all that you've done for Meadowbrook and for me personally, and you're gonna be missed.
Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for the love of what you did. And that was, like I said, that was very obvious each and every day. They totally loved what they did. They worked extremely hard at what they did and what they accomplished. And I would just hope that some of the young folks in the education field come along now would be able to experience what they have modeled over the years and carry that on in their name.
Because, far more transcends into the building than just from an individual classroom and all. And they're part of the establishment. They've all been here 20, 30 plus years. They know the ins and outs. They've been through the transitions. They've been through the building upgrades. They've been through program changes, and that's a whole lot of experience going out the door.
Thanks for everything that they've done for me over the past 2 years, and for what they've done for this community and for this school. And you know, anytime that they've got an opportunity to come in, they'd better come in and help out.
I mean, from the bottom of my heart, man, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for me. I mean, I might get a little emotional here, but I've gone through a lot in my life over the last 6 years, and coming in here and having that camaraderie and always knowing you have somebody to talk to, somebody to lean on. It's really meant a lot. It's really meant a lot, man. I love you guys.
I think what I'm gonna miss most is the day-to-day interaction. When you're having a bad day, because we all have bad days, them just being like helping you blow it off. So I mean, it's gonna be tough next year because I've known them my entire teaching career. So I haven't known teaching without them.
Just bear with me a second. I don't know that the advice to them would be, just to enjoy every day. Now that they, the routine of going to, to Meadowbrook is gone, but to embrace and enjoy that. But most importantly, I don't know how good this will be, Randy. I got a little emotional here this morning. The biggest thing that I would say is thank you. I'm glad we're not on video because you'd see a few tears, but because when someone when the kind of people that have had the impact those men have had, just there's no way to replace that. You can, hopefully they'll get some people to add to it, but those three people are irreplaceable in not only at Meadowbrook, but in the hearts of kids, and as well as me, as well as Mike Sutton. The major portion of their life to serve young people and the Meadowbrook community. And, they're just going to be missed.
I'd just like to say thank you, for helping me and mentoring me and all the things that they've done to teach me about life and coaching and teaching and being a good coach. And they just, those guys there, they're kind of like guys that you don't have to tell me. They show me. They show me how to do things. They show me how to be a good coach. My dad used to always tell us that he would rather see a sermon than hear one any day. And those guys have given some good sermons.
Thank you. We love you. We're gonna miss you, even though we know you'll still be around, supporting us as you did this year. And enjoy your retirement. You deserved it. You deserve it.
Dave touched so many lives and reached so many people that you can't measure how valuable they are. Not just as teachers or as coaches, but just as people. You just wish more people in life were like that.
Those 5 individuals, I think, have a way of, helping increase the morale, and I think they pretty much define Meadowbrook. The character and the diversity and whatnot that I've come to know of Meadowbrook.
Now, in order for Meadowbrook to be highly successful, it's going to take a plan, and it's going to take people dedicated to the plan. However, you got to be flexible with that, because sometimes you got to make sure the plan is the right plan, and you need to go back and double check that. And I think sometimes we don't do that. I think sometimes we just set something up and say we're going to go with this. And, it may not always work, but we're stuck with it. We've got to be able to be flexible and make changes when necessary. Other than that, it takes love from your heart and just full dedication to just keep going and stick to your guns. And I wish everybody the best of luck on that.
It's going to be hard not seeing them. Just walking in the building in the morning. John, Bill, and I, we get in here around 6:15 every morning. And when you walk the halls and there's hardly anybody here, it just makes you think. Within 45 minutes, those hallways are going to be packed with students. But I'm going to miss that part. I'm going to miss being in front of the class and talking, because I'm usually not a person lost for words.
You know, I would just say support these kids the best way that you can. A lot of times people do not, this is a special school from the standpoint that people do not realize they have so much going on in their lives that other people really don't have to deal with. And there's some great kids here. You just have to reach in there and get them. And if you're able to do that, you have to overlook some things sometimes, but you know, if they become your friend and they work hard, and when I say friend, I'm not saying you agree with them and let them do everything they want to do, but if they like you, they're going to work hard for you, regardless of whether it's classroom or it's on the field. So that's, you know, they're a special group of kids, and some of them come back to you and they really appreciate what you've done, and they come back and tell you, and I think that's the biggest part of it.
God's sake, love what you do. Love what you do. And remember, they're still kids. They look like grown men, they look like grown women, but they're children. See through that exterior. You can reach them. They can be reached. Sometimes you may have to do it with candy. Sometimes you may have to do it with the belt. You got to find that happy medium. They'll come to you. You don't have to chase them. They'll come to you.